stopping by the farm service operation here, and you're learning a little bit more about agriculture and how it's impacting Iowa and of course, your constituents. What are you learning? What are you hearing?
We're learning about the issues that right now are affecting agriculture. So most importantly, planting season went well, and the rains we currently have are really helping the crops. So if the rest of the season goes well, we'll have a good crop season this year. But there are some constraints in the supply chain as far as purchasing implements, and also then for those who raise livestock, there's still some problems with pricing of cattle and the break-even point for cattle. So I learned some things today about import as well as the supply chain, and those things are important to us to be able to address at the national level as well.
The current Biden administration has looking at spending more for infrastructure, some other things like that, and I know the impact is potential inflation and how it's going to impact other people's bottom line at home. What are you looking at as far as being able to help companies, farmers, navigate that time that's coming and how to make the most for their money?
Yeah, so farmers have a concern. Number one, all of us are already seeing inflation. So we see that in the price we pay at the pump. Mm-hmm. So within days of canceling the Keystone Pipeline, the price of gasoline was already up 70 cents. We also see that in the food we buy. So we know that food products, going to the grocery store, you're paying more at the grocery store. Housing is a tremendous issue right now for people to get affordable housing. And part of that is we can't get supplies right now to build affordable housing. So supply chain is a tremendous issue right now throughout the country. And part of that is what happened during the pandemic when things slowed down and people weren't at work, and then just ramping that back up. So there is demand, and that, of course, increases prices and inflation. And the current administration, we all want to have bipartisan work on infrastructure, roads, bridges, locks, dams, broadband, and then the electric grid is part of that. But you have a bill that's much more expansive than that, $7 trillion in spending proposed in a period of 4 months, and we're going to pay for that. So the average person, average worker, average family is going to be paying for that. It's not just large corporations. So they propose to raise revenue by increasing taxes on employers, which is going to affect us and our bottom line. And as farmers in our agricultural community, they're very concerned about the increase in taxes and getting rid of the step-up basis for purchasing land in agriculture. So those issues are really important, and that also affects how a young farmer can come into agriculture if they're having to pay much more for land because of the taxation being increased. So I think things that we saw here in our state legislature and Governor Reynolds do are going to be very helpful for agriculture, and we may need to make sure that on the federal level we don't increase taxes, which not only hurt every family sitting at their kitchen table, but they hurt our food producers as well.
And the last question is you talked about this, I got a frog in my throat today. So you talked about that supply chain. How about the labor chain that seems to be broken and slowing things down right now?
I think that there's a dignity in work. We've talked before that my first job outside of the house was picking cucumbers in Southeast Texas at 13. And then when I left home at 16, worked, and I've worked my entire life, worked and gone to school to be able to, have a better lifestyle than my parents did, and not have those same concerns and worries that my parents did. There is value and dignity in work, and right now we are seeing there's a huge demand for labor, and we can't get labor and people into the workforce. And I'm not talking about jobs that pay $7.25 an hour. I don't even know of a job, even if that's the federal minimum wage. I don't know of any employer that's paying that. They're all paying much more than that. And to get workers at $16 to $20 an hour, and even I've talked to some employers to get people to come into jobs that are $80,000 to $130,000 a year, they're having difficulty. So we need to get rid of the pandemic emergency measures that were put in place and that were just passed in January that are, had enhanced federal unemployment benefits. We need to relinquish that so we can get people back in the workplace, which gives them the dignity of the job, the self-esteem that they need, and that helps us both economically and it helps our mental health.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.